I will never forget the phone call I received at 6:10, Monday, April 14th. It'll forever be etched in my memory. It was Susan Nelson, Ricky's mom, on the phone. She said, "Pastor Dan, I won't be able to make the board meeting tonight." And then she paused for a moment and said, "Ricky went to heaven today." And I was quite certain I had heard her correctly, but I said, "Susan?" And she knew I was looking for a second confirmation. She said, "Yes, this morning, Ricky and another Marine were killed, and he's gone on to be with Jesus." If you were at the funeral home last night, you know that literally hundreds and hundreds of people, if not thousands, stood for 2 to 3 hours to pay their respects to Ricky and express their love to Kristen and her family and Lenny and Susan and their family. It was incredibly moving. Friends, neighbors, Marines, former Marines, representation from all of the armed services came by to pay their respects. Strangers, not knowing Kristen or the Nelsons, wanted to stop by, stood in line for hours just to say thank you to Ricky for serving our country.
And Ricky's sister Katie has written a letter. And this is what she says about her brother. She says, "Being the only girl with 6 brothers, I always felt like the odd one out, but not when it came to Ricky. We were always equal. We played dress up together." Kind of sheds a new light on Ricky there, doesn't it? Played sports together, were in Bible quiz together, and even got in trouble together. I waited to go on roller coasters at Great America until he was tall enough. The first year he was able to go on the Whizzer, we waited an hour in line. Rick was so excited, but I was terrified. And so when it was finally our turn, I ran off and Rick followed. He was so angry with me that he never let me forget it. He even mentioned it again at Christmas. Funny how we never seem to remember that same summer when we rode all the rides at the state fair together. Everything was great until we rode the Zipper. While I was having the time of my life, Ricky sat beside me praying at the top of his lungs for Jesus to save him. After the first 4 rotation, I informed the operator that my little brother was scared. The remainder of the day was spent with Ricky trying to convince me that he wasn't scared, and he couldn't imagine why I could have possibly thought that. And then she just says, "I love you, Ricky," signed Katie.
Todd is another one of the brothers, and he wanted to express his love for Ricky. And he writes of a special moment. "Remember when we were kids and you were being disciplined? After Dad spanked you and we heard your cries from the other room, you came into the kitchen with a stubborn look on your face and said, 'That didn't hurt.' Back you went with Dad. This repeated itself a few times until you realized it was in your own best interest to keep your feelings of pain or lack thereof to yourself. 10 days ago, Mom called me to give me the news, and that did hurt. I had begun to think of my Marine brother as invincible. How reality hurts. My 2 oldest sons hardly remember anything about their week's vacation to Kenosha at Christmas time this year, except for their visit to yours and Kristen's apartment. It is amazing how quickly you had a lasting impact on their lives. I am sorry that my little ones will never get to know Uncle Ricky. I'm so happy that I did get the chance to. When I see you in heaven someday, and you cannot tell a lie, I'm going to ask you if those spankings really hurt or not. Until then, I love you, and I'll miss you. Love, Todd."
On September 4th, 1984, God gave Richard Joseph Nelson to this world. And I really believe it was an event planned by God. Book of Psalms says, "You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed." We're standing or even sitting here this morning in shock, but I want you to know God is not shocked. God's not surprised at all. Because before Rick was ever born, God ordered his steps. He knew how his life would unfold. He knew where he would be born. He knew who his family would be, his brothers, his sisters, his parents, the city he would live in, the school he would go to. He knew what he would do for work. He knew who he would date and who he would marry. And he chose good. He knew all of that. And before Rick ever breathed his first breath, God knew how his life would end. And it's understandable today, and I think even within the family, there are feelings of different types of emotions, anger at times, frustration, sadness, of course. But I want to echo the words spoken by Job in the first half of the Bible as he stood at the funeral of his own children. He said, "The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. And in either case, blessed be the name of the Lord."
Oh, beautiful, for heroes proved in liberating strife. Who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, make God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and ever again divine. And you know, when I was in school, we used to sing it something like this. Listen here. Oh, beautiful, far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain. But now wait a minute, I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed his grace on thee. He crowned thy good. Yes, he did.